And right now, our third enshrinement, the late J. Walter Kennedy, presenting the award, the present Commissioner of the National Basketball Association, Lawrence F. O'Brien. Larry.
Thank you very much, Dick. Before my remarks, I must say that Dick Vitale did remind me of something. I do recall, Dick, vividly sending that letter to you, fining you $1,000, but I don't recall hearing from you. So we'll check the records back. I'm pleased to be a participant in this enshrinement program, particularly so because this is the 35th anniversary season of the National Basketball Association. And the National Basketball Association was an outgrowth of the founding and development of basketball in my hometown of Springfield. And I'm honored to be a presenter of a man who led, I think you agree, the fullest of lives. As a public servant, a person dedicated to his fellow man, a major contributor to our great sport. As a public servant, he gave selflessly of his time and efforts to the people of his home city of Stamford and the state of Connecticut. He served as mayor of Stamford, as chairman of the trustees for Connecticut State Colleges, as a member of the State Commission on Higher Education, and as a member of the Connecticut Development Commission. And really, he was dedicated to his fellow man. He served on Cardinal Cook's Committee for Education, as a trustee of the Rice Davis Child Study Center in Los Angeles, as a board member of the Walter Winchell Damon Runyon Cancer Fund, the Will Rogers Memorial Committee, the board of the Boys Town of Italy, the National Board of Directors of Little League Baseball, and chairman of the board of Special Olympics. His great love was sports. His great love was sports and the game of basketball. His basketball career spanned over 50 years. As a young scorekeeper in Stanford, manager of his high school team, covering athletic activities at Notre Dame, a sports writer for the South Bend Tribune, and as Notre Dame's publicity director. Yes, he certainly lived basketball. Just think of it, as a high school coach, coach of pro teams in Connecticut. Indeed, John Nucatola, I should mention, he even moonlighted as a basketball referee. He had a 10-year association with the Harlem Globetrotters, and he was the NBA's first public relations director. He knew and he loved the game. He recognized it as truly an American game, as a significant aspect of American life. And when he succeeded Morris Podoloff, already enshrined in this Hall of Fame as commissioner of the NBA, many of his hopes and his aspirations for our sport came to fruition. He was the architect of the NBA's expansion from 9 to 18 teams. He developed the league's first national television contract, and he saw attendance grow threefold during his tenure. He brought to the NBA a new level of prominence in American sports. Then he decided to retire as commissioner of the NBA, but not to retire from basketball. He remained committed and devoted to our sport as president of this Basketball Hall of Fame, fully involved every moment until his untimely death. He was my friend. He was the first to suggest I join the NBA. He was my confidant and advisor. But much more than that, His friends were legion, as we know. They encompassed the spectrum from the mighty of the world of sports and government to the kids of the playgrounds of America. And it was often said, his enemies, if he ever had any, could fit into a telephone booth. In my judgment, no man contributed more to basketball in a lifetime. No man was more dedicated to the continuing growth and bright future of our sport. We owe him a great debt. And we are discharging that debt, at least in part, here today and tonight. I am proud to present Walter Kennedy for enshrinement into the Naismith Memorial Hall of Fame. And I extend my personal congratulations, along with all in the NBA and all basketball fans everywhere. And to Walter's wife, Marion, who was at his side every step of the way, totally supportive of all his endeavors. And to his sons, David and Bob, and his daughter, Kathleen. The Kennedy family, we are so pleased to have with us here tonight. Walter will always be in our midst and treasured in our memories. Treasured as one of the true giants of sports in America. Enshrined here with the greats. Enshrined where he truly belongs. Thank you.
I have the distinguished honor to enshrine him as a contributor in the Basketball Hall of Fame with all of its rights and privileges. And here's Walter's oldest son, Mr. Dave Kennedy. David.
I'm particularly pleased that Larry O'Brien could be here tonight to make this presentation. I remember when my father retired in 1975, he was still commissioner for about 2 years and one of a three-man committee to select the new commissioner of the National Basketball Association. And he used to confide in me occasionally about the process of the discussions going on with who was going to be the next commissioner. And Larry O'Brien was the only person that he really ever wanted. Larry O'Brien was always the first choice. And I'm thrilled that Larry could be here tonight, because I knew that from day one, and I guess my father had a long struggle convincing you to make that move, and you did, and we're all the better for it. Basketball is certainly the better for it. Before I say anything, there's an expression that's often a cliche, and this time it's not, because I am very close to it. Expression is, there is a woman behind every man. But this meaning, or this expression, has real meaning. If it ever did, it was the relationship between Marion and J. Walter Kennedy, and I would like you to all meet my mother. On behalf of the Kennedy family, my mother, my brother Robert, my sister Kathy, my nephew Bobby, my niece Kelly, we're thrilled to be here for this occasion. We wish my father could have been here. This honor is one he would have cherished more than any other. I tried to think of what his thoughts would have been on this night. And the first was how thrilled he would be to join the company of other Hall of Fame members that he admired so much, particularly friends such as Elmer Ripley, Eddie Gottlieb, John Nucatola, his college roommate, Moose Krause, his basketball mentor in so many ways, Abe Saperstein, Ray Meyer, whom I remember as a trembling 10-year-old at Madison Square Garden, asking him to be the first name in my sports autograph book, and particularly to be in a Hall of Fame that includes the first man he ever fined, Red Auerbach. I think having Red and my father in the same Hall of Fame proves how fair the selection process is. I also think he would point with great pride, probably not so much to his achievements as commissioner. They've been discussed and reviewed today. But I think he would point to the long and warm relationships he established with people of every level in the NBA, as well as with the press covering the NBA. I remember two goals that he set for himself. Both were mentioned in his first press conference as commissioner in 1963. One, he would govern with an iron fist covered with a velvet glove, something my brother and I knew long before Red Auerbach did. The other was, you cannot compromise with integrity, and he never did. But in addition to all of this, there's something else I know would be on his mind tonight. And that is the award given each year in his name by the Professional Basketball Writers Association, called the J. Walter Kennedy Community Service Award, given to the individual player or coach who accomplishes the most each season in putting back into his community the very highest levels of public service. He was enormously proud of this award and the fact that it was named after him. And in an era where so much attention seems to be given to escalating salaries, bonuses, options, and so on, I thought it was appropriate in thinking about what was important to him to think about his belief in the importance of the successful person putting something of himself back into helping the less successful, the promising, the next generation. It was his philosophy of life. As an example, I'd like to read you a very brief poem he carried with him always during the last years of his life. Today my hands are strong, so let me help you. Tomorrow they may be weak or old or sick, and you will have to lighten my load. But today my hands are strong, so let me share your burden. For why do we exist if we cannot care for our fellow man, walk his path, know his sorrow? Today my hands are strong. Let me help you. If all of us could carry a little bit of that part of him with us, it would be the greatest blessing on his selection to the Basketball Hall of Fame. On behalf of the Kennedy family and the memory of J. Walter Kennedy, we thank you for inviting us here and for this honor. Thank you.